Epilepsy. It's not what you think. For information, call Epilepsy Hamilton and District. This is CHCH TV 11.
TV 11 Newsroom, late edition. Here's Dan McLean.
Good evening, everyone. Tomorrow, Ontario's doctors will put their money where their mouths are as a threatened strike begins. Many of the province's 17,000 physicians will withdraw their services for the next 2 days in opposition to the government's plan to legislate an end to extra billing. As Newsroom's Dwight Ryan reports tonight, 75% of Hamilton's physicians are expected to take part in the strike, but emergency help for those who need it will be available.
When Ontario's doctors demonstrated outside Queen's Park against the government's plan to legislate an end to extra billing, it was clear they meant business. Tomorrow they'll make good on their threat when they begin a 2-day strike. It remains to be seen how many of the 17,000 Ontario Medical Association members will leave their jobs. Ontario Health Minister Murray Elston has been assured that those requiring emergency treatment will be able to get it.
We've been assured that there will be coverage for people needing assistance, and I'm taking the OMA at face value for that, Dan. I think they should be confident that their local hospital will, in fact, handle it, and, in fact, that their local physicians won't abandon them in a time of need.
Local doctors, members of the Hamilton Academy of Medicine, had at first voted against joining the strike. But Academy Vice President Dr. Donald Rosenthal now says 75% of the city's 850 physicians will withdraw their services. Dr. Bill Goldberg won't be among them.
It's foreign to my thinking, and I don't think it's going to accomplish anything in the long run. And also I think that we can never have a long strike. I just don't think it's the way to go. I don't think it'll accomplish anything. And I would just find it offensive. And
Goldberg, a former president of the Hamilton Academy, says the overall issue has been clouded.
I don't think that extra billing is the major issue. I think it's some relationship we have to have with government, something like binding arbitration for fees, the merit pay. I think all those should be the issue, and we should try to solve them, but not by strike.
At Hamilton hospitals, elective surgery scheduled for the next 2 days has been canceled. At St. Joseph's, the emergency department staff has been doubled. The normal operating load at the McMaster Medical Center has been cut in half. It will be business as usual, however, at the Hamilton General. But again, extra emergency room staff will be available. Dr. Goldberg says patients have nothing to worry about.
I think they're going to be very inconvenienced. I don't think that anybody will be endangered.
Well, the 2-day doctor strike will no doubt send a clear message to Queen's Park. Its main effect on the general public will be one of inconvenience. Those in need of emergency medical help can be comforted in knowing that it will be available. In Hamilton, Dwight Ryan, Newsroom Late Edition.
Meanwhile, sources at Queen's Park say the provincial government wants to toughen the proposed legislation. Proposed changes would penalize doctors $1 for every dollar they extra bill patients. These sources say that if the changes are passed, patients would be asked to complain to any OHIP office if they are extra billed. They would then be reimbursed by the government, which would in turn try to collect the money from the doctors in question. Ed Broadbent has a tough time believing the Prime Minister when it comes to the issue of U.S. import duties on Canadian cedar products. So tough, in fact, that Broadbent was tossed out of the House of Commons today for conduct unbecoming a member of Parliament. He called Brian Mulrooney a liar. And as Ken Lawrence reports, you just can't do that and expect to get away with it.
This label will soon disappear from lumber yards throughout the United States, and so could upwards of 4,000 jobs in the British Columbia forest industry. Trying to resolve the shakes and shingles feud with the Americans, the Prime Minister called in representatives of the BC forest industry to meet the cabinet. Both owners and unions thanked Ottawa for acting quickly, but they stopped there. The PM earlier told reporters his government is seeking some form of compensation from the U.S. for the financial loss Canada has suffered by the imposition of a 35% duty on shakes and shingles. However, the industry does not want any help.
I'm not interested particularly in talking about compensation. I think what we want to do is to save the industry, to preserve those jobs.
Our industry position is that we don't want any. We've never had it before, and we sure don't want it now.
Half an hour later in the Commons, the Prime Minister indicated that the BC forest industry is in full support of his government's action. That's when Ed Broadbent accused the Prime Minister of not telling the truth. The Speaker then showed Broadbent the door.
I'm saying in the House of Commons that he certainly misled the members of Parliament, and through members of Parliament he misled the people.